Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Prime Live. Now we are super excited to welcome back to Prime Live Amina Sader, who is an internationally qualified Montessori educator and the founder of Tinker Creatorlab, a playful lab that nurtures creativity, problem-solving skills, as well as imagination in young learners. And today we are privileged to delve into the conversation surrounding the importance of literacy, but more importantly, with her 20 years of experience in early childhood education, we'll be talking about the Literacy and Phonics Club, which is designed to engage children in a playful learning environment. You may remember our previous interview, engaging young children on all things tech and creativity, but join us today as we talk about the importance of literacy as well. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us once again on Prime Live.
Wa alaikum assalam. It's an absolute pleasure, Nadia. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you as well. I mean, I had so much fun in our last interview, you know, getting to interact with all the different creative little gadgets and gimmicks that you had for the kids to be able to nurture their creative minds, but also, you know, enhance that little digital tech baby within them as well. So I had a lot of fun. But today we are here to talk about literacy, which is of course a very, very important one. And as we talked about a little bit in the introduction, there definitely needs to be more emphasis on the aspect of literacy and enhancing literacy within young children. But can you walk us through the Literacy and Phonics Club and how it differs from traditional approaches? I know that's what you're famous for, is the untraditional but more fun and exciting approaches to education.
Yes, that's an absolutely excellent question. So I think traditional methods work on rote learning and memorization and lots of worksheets. So again, Tinker Creatorlab takes the children through a fun, meaningful, playful, engaging activity where we use music, movement, song, even dance, interactive games, storytelling, and comprehension. So already that's on a different note of learning. And we combine it with online and on-site. But I just want to say, when we say online, we don't mean screen heavy. We actually mean, as I said, storytelling, movement, interactive games, a complete out-of-space experience.
I love to hear that. And if I learned anything from our previous conversation, I think your approach is so unique in the sense that it caters to children's learning abilities. Like you said, it doesn't enhance that memorization. And, you know, having been to school, I completely relate to what you're saying. We don't learn to understand, we learn to memorize for the sake of a test and doing well in a test. But we're not really enhancing or nurturing ourselves. And you have a unique approach in terms of incorporating play into your learning and education platforms. But talk to us about the benefits of learning through play and how it is able to benefit children's cognitive abilities as well as their development and specifically their literacy skills.
So if the children are engaged in play, automatically they want to learn. Automatically, I think in the previous lesson we spoke about love for learning. So now they start love to read. So automatically their storytelling is improved, their memory skills are improved, their cognitive intelligence is improved. So why are they playing? They're not really realizing they're playing, but they yearn more. Like I've had a parent feedback now saying that child doesn't interact in class, but she's interacting with me online. So automatically the benefits are huge. So you can see it with the children. You can see how the play and the Play-Doh and the games are helping the children, helping them to read without forgetting.
I think when you learn through play, I think what I relate a lot to what you're saying is the things you learn in preschool that you've learned through play, you quite never forget in your life. Like it's almost like saying how you never forget to ride a bike. Because it was fun, it was interactive, it was something you were fully engaged in whilst doing it, instead of sitting with a book and memorizing something just so you can blurt it out on a piece of paper for an exam. So I can understand, you know, very well how your dynamic approach to education works so well for the learners. But can you talk us through, or are you able to give us some examples of the learn through play, you know, therapies or rather education that you're able to offer, especially when teaching things like phonics and literacy?
So our favorite one is our space exploration. So actually the children actually transform themselves into astronauts, aliens, rocket ships. So we actually learn phonics through interactive games. We have the entire solar system, we orbit with each alphabet of the phonic. So we've got like black hole, and ionosphere, and some like really quite, how can I say, space extravagant words that they're actually learning while they're playing. And while they're doing the phonics, they're actually physically going through the different planets. And you wouldn't believe from A to Z, because we don't say A, we say A to Z. There's a phonic for each item in space. And then we decode alien words. So they're playing, they're reading, they're learning, they're doing a space story on an actual astronaut. And they're learning, so they're so exciting. So when it comes to retelling the story, which is a critical skill for learning, children are unable to retell a story in sequencing. So, you know, with the play and the space and the Play-Doh and the crayons and the song, you know, we love song. We love song. We love storytelling. That's one of the, I think, our favorite examples, the space.
Now that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, as a young child, I was obsessed with space exploration, so I can completely imagine that being a fun activity to be able to do.
They just think, for them it's fun, like, you know, it's exciting. It's not boring that, okay, now I need to learn ka-ata or ka-ata or, you know, I need to draw a rocket. So while we're drawing a rocket, we're spelling the word rocket. So it's like all incidental reading without them actually realizing they're learning. But they actually learn so much.
You know, this, I can completely understand why this is so effective, because I think we learn incorrectly. And I think that's why your approach is so unique and so much better. Because if I think about a course that I took in high school that taught studying skills and how to study to understand and how to study to retain that information long term, I recall the course coordinator talking about associating lists in terms of learning a list of how, for example, how a process might happen. You must associate with something funny or a funny image in your mind, or sound out a funny scenario or something like that that is fun and exciting or that makes you laugh to help move it to your long-term memory. So I can completely understand how that can work and how, you know, great this is for children's developmentally in terms of their learning skills for the future and they're learning it from such a young age. But in terms of the feedback that you've had from parents who have, you know, of course brought their kids to come and learn in this wonderfully fun environment, can you talk us through, you know, some of the success stories that this form of learning has been able to bring?
Yes, there's been some incredible success stories. I've had kids, I wouldn't like to, how can I say, put like a, how can I say, a status in society, but I do have kids that come from extremely privileged schools or high-end private schools, like, you know, for example, St. John's or Kingsmead, whose parents said that what they've learned in the few lessons with me, they haven't learned in a whole term at the school. So it has been effective. With parents also saying they're finding they're interacting more with me, they're learning quicker with me. So there has been incredible success story where I've had kids learning in a short period of time, where they just managed to get it. And I think with me being an educator, I can identify when a child is in a sensitive period. As I said, I use differentiated teaching methods. It's not your traditional methods. So that's when you know you need to now, you know, move with the children. And if something works, it works. If something doesn't work, you try something else. So yeah, the feedback has been incredibly positive.
I love that you've created the kind of environment where every type of child with every kind of learning style is able to thrive. And I think that's more of what we want to see in our education system. And I love that you're the driving force behind this wave of education. Because I think that's why so many children end up hating school or feeling misplaced in schools, because if it's not catering to your kind of learning environment, you feel, it tends to make you feel dumb, for a lack of a better word, and that's not fair at all.
Okay, I just want to say one more thing.
Please go ahead.
Talking about the positive feedback, I've also got kids from the community, where we're driving a community-based initiative. You know, so you've got kids from different walks of life who don't know English, that are coming to me, where I would have to say, where your level is here, I've had to readjust the program so that they actually understand. So it's an advanced story. It could be like moo moo brown cow, something simple, but they're also loving it and engaging and using the Lego to play, which is nice because it should be accessible to everyone, all walks of life. So we're also driving it as a community initiative with quite a minimal fee as well, just to help the children in the community.
Wow, that's a wonderful
Yeah.
initiative.
So as I said, we're catering for everybody, and the main thing is we want children to read. We want it to be accessible, we want it to be affordable. We don't want somebody not to come because of, So and I've got one little boy, and he's quite a delight. So I think it's quite challenging teaching him how to read or sound out phonics.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's such a wonderful initiative.
To just say that.
No, I love that.
Came across my mind.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's so important that our community at large knows that something like this does exist for anyone who does need the assistance and the help. And speaking of that, how can our viewers at home, young parents out there, anyone who's interested in getting in touch with you and bringing their kids to come and enjoy this wonderful learning environment, how can they get in touch with you?
The best way is WhatsApp. So bookings are made through WhatsApp on 082-258-7637. This way, it's WhatsApp. So I'm accessible. I might not reply to you immediately, but I definitely will get back to you.
Perfect. Amina, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been such a privilege and such a pleasure to have you in studio with us again. Thank you for sharing the wonderful work that you do.
Pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure. Viewers at home, that was Amina Sader. I do hope you enjoyed today's amazing conversation about what is possible when it comes to creating fun and exciting learning environments for children that leave lasting impacts on their development. But you can reach out to her, and please do ask her any questions, or do reach out to her if you would like your little one to join Tinker Creatorlab. But on that note, it is time for us to head over to an ad break, and we'll come right back.